And this page will show the basic process of data mining actually from the real world data. So the data mining in this area or this community is composed of people from different areas. We have people from different areas covering the database systems, machine learning, pattern recognition, as well as statistics. So in this page, we show you the data mining process from the typical view of database system as well as data warehousing communities. So this is from the perspective of database people actually, how they do or how they treat the data mining process. So data mining plays an essential role in the knowledge discovery process. Normally, if we have some data from the database systems, right, and we have some database system at the bottom, inside them we have some data stored in them, right? And so based on database system and what data we store in the database systems, via several steps, we can extract some knowledge from it. These steps cover data cleaning. Given the data in the database system, we can clean the data, right? And via some steps, we can store the data into a data warehouse, right? And based on data we store in the data warehouse, we can do some selections, right? And the selection can help us to extract some task relevant data instead. And based on this data we have related to the task, we can further do the data mining, right? According to some algorithms, and we can get some patterns. This pattern can be useful, some can be not, right? And we can do some evaluations according to the pattern we can get from the data we have, and which will be called pattern evaluations. And for the patterns which are useful according to the evaluation results, it will be called as knowledge we discover from the data, right? And this knowledge can be further used to help us do the selection, do the mining, as well as do the evaluations of the data actually. The knowledge can also be useful for us to do the cleaning as well as integrations of the data from the database systems. So this is the process of how we do the data mining from the perspective of database people actually. Besides database people, we also do, some people also do the data mining from the perspective of machine learning or the statistics instead. They treat the data mining process in a different manner. So from the view of the machine learning people or the statistical people, they treat the process of data mining as follows. Given the input data, via some data pre-processing, which cover some steps, right? For example, data integration, normalization, feature selection, dimension reduction. These are pre-processing steps. And then we can do the data mining, this task or this algorithm instead. So to do the data mining, we need to use some techniques, right? We can use the pattern discoveries, this algorithm, or the association and correlation algorithms, classification algorithms, clustering algorithms, as well as auto-analyze algorithms for the mining of the data, right? And then based on mining results, we can further do some post-processing, as shown here at the next step. For post-processing, we have some examples, right? And the pattern evaluation, pattern selection, pattern interpretation, and pattern visualization, right? While the post-processing, we can further get the patterns and the knowledge we can get from the input data. You can see it is slightly different from the view of database system people, right? So for database system people, data mining process is related to the database system, data warehouse, as well as some other machine or the system correlated backgrounds, right? However, for the machine learning people, it is more from the perspective of machine learning algorithm or machine learning application perspective instead, which is, get some data, we do some pre-processing, mining, as well as post-processing to get some patterns or some knowledge, right? They are slightly different. The data mining actually is a very important component in the real-world applications as well as for the decision makings. In this page, we show you the roles of data mining as well as some other techniques in the business intelligence. Normally, when we have lots of data, right? We have some data sources. These sources can be very diverse. It covers some papers, some files, documents, scientific experiments, as well as database systems, right? These are all the data we can get from different perspectives. And via some pre-processing or some components or machines, we can store or we can process the data via some pre-processing integration techniques and store them into the data warehouse, right? And based on this kinds of step, then we can do one first step upward, which is for data exploration. We can do some simple statistical summary of the data we can get, do some queries, do some reporting of the data, right? And based on this prior explorations, these steps, we can further do the data mining for the knowledge discovery, right? Which is the role of data mining in this kind of process. In this data mining step, we can get some knowledge, some information discovered from data we can get from the bottom, right? And based on the results we can get via data mining, we can do some data presentations via the visualization techniques, right? we can show the data to the audience and for the decision making, which will be the target of this process. So, you can see the business intelligence, the process is to get some knowledge from data we can get from different sources for the decision makings. As the process, we need to have some steps, some levels, right? From data source to data pre-processing, for the prior exploration, for the mining, for the presentation, and finally we can go to the decision making, right? This is the process as well the roles of data mining in the decision making process. All the data mining is correlated with many areas. In this page, we show you correlation among different areas of data mining, right, with some other topics or some other subjects. So the central part we have data mining. Data mining actually is impacted or is influenced by different people from different areas, different communities. Of course, data mining is correlated with algorithm, right? We need to use some algorithm to define the models. It is correlated with database systems, right, which is shown here. It is also correlated with machine learning. We need to use some algorithms, some methods from machine learning, like for the classification, for the clustering, right? It is also correlated with pattern recognition, because we have to extract some patterns, some knowledge from data, right? Which we may need to use some knowledge, some techniques from the pattern recognition area as well. It is also correlated with statistics, because many of the models are based on statistics, right? And we also need to use some visualization techniques for presenting the results we mine or we get from the data. Data mining is correlated with some applications. We need to have some application domain knowledge for defining the problem as well as the algorithm. Of course, it is all correlated with high performance computing HPC, right? Because we have to use some machines to run the algorithm for mining from data. Normally, in most of cases, the data we can get or we can use is very large. We have to use some larger machines as well as some HPC techniques for us to run the algorithm for mining and the knowledge extraction. So you can see, data mining is influenced by different areas, and you also need to know the correlation among different communities and different areas when we are studying data mining, this course or this subject.